Okay, so I'm going to show you how to switch your camera into time-lapse movie on the Canon EOS R. First, you go into your toggle switch up here where it gives you the commands to change your modes, your camera modes. You go into here, then you select C3P, select C3P, C3P, then you hit info to switch it over to movie. You have to be in manual mode when you're doing manual time lapse. So select that. Now you're in manual time lapse. Then you go to the menu, and then you go into the red tab, and you'll find that your time lapse is disabled. So it says not available because of the associated function settings, Canon C log settings. So I go back into the menu, and then go into red tab 3, and then red tab 4. You can see Canon's C log settings. Switch that, it's on 8-bit, switch it to off, because I shoot in 8-bit most of the time. So now the C log is off. Now I'm going to go back into 2, time lapse. Enable your time lapse. I'm going to do an 1080p movie. My last video was a 4K time lapse of my fiance doing my makeup. So I'm going to go into 1080p. I enabled that. Intervals, I'm going to do it every, I'll change it to every 3 seconds. Press OK. Then you go to number of shots. It's set for, now you can go into this. You can go, this is amount of shots that you can set up. You can go all the way up to basically 9,999. If you want to go into longer, I'm not quite sure how to do that, but, and then, so here's my shots. I'm going to switch it to 600. You can see when I switch it to 600, it says right here that it's 29 minutes and 57 seconds of actual record time, but the playback is actually only 20 seconds. So that's fine by me. I'm going to hit OK. And then that's pretty much how you set up the time lapse. Fixed, you want the auto exposure to fix first frame. So the first time you press the record button, that's what your exposure is going to be. And your screen auto off, enable that. Basically, you want that enabled because if you don't enable it, then the battery will drain if it's on, because if you're on sitting there for a half hour or an hour and the screen's not automatically turning off, then the battery will drain very rapidly. Beeps, I like to have the beep on because when the beep enabled, it lets you know that your time lapse is working, so you're not just sitting there for a half hour thinking that it's working and then you go to play it back and nothing happened. Okay, so that's that. And then you go to menu, that's all set up, and then get off this, click that, and then here's what it says. It says test and set exposure settings on the first screen, and it shows you your shutter button to take the shot. And then to get the time lapse ready, all you have to do is press the record button. You just press it, and then you can get your time lapse started. So I'll show you, demonstrate how this time lapse is going to work. Thanks. Okay everybody, so I'm going to show you how to do a multiple exposure. So first you go into your camera settings, go into menu, and then it's the red icon. Then you go over to menu, and the red icon, go to section 5. Then in your multiple exposure, hit that, go to that. Multiple exposures, go to on function control, select function control to on, and then I set it to additive because that's the one that I find it's the most fun. So I selected additive, and number of exposures, you can set it really high up. Goes up to 9 exposures. I'm going to set it for 3 exposures today. And then images, go to all images. So it shows you the images together, and it shows them all grouped together. and then continuous multiple exposure, I went to continuously, and that's how I've done the multiple exposures. So I go to the menu and get out of this menu here, and then select menu again. And then what I did also, my info, I've made it so it's a 2-second delay because it's on a tripod and it reduces camera shake. And here are my settings that I've set there, and it's on 1 shot. And then I'm in a manual mode. So we'll go back, and then I'm gonna hit the shutter on this, and you'll see what happens. So that's my first exposure. And then I'm gonna move it, and by looking at the back of my screen, you can see that when I move this, that the first one's there. So that's what that's going to look like. And then I'm going to select it again. And then so that's that picture. Now that's all 2 exposures. Now I'm going to set this one over here. It's right there. Set this one to over here. And I am going to move this one right here to there to there, and I'm going to be creative. And then now I'm going to take a picture of the smoke. And now it's saying busy, and you just wait for it to load, and then you go down to the preview button, and it shows you what your multiple exposure looks like. So that's mine with the multiple exposure with 3 exposures, and that's how you do it, boys and girls. All right, thanks. Have a great day.